Today, we're talking about the line of sedans that gave brands like BMW sleepless nights, the very car that elevated Infiniti from the also-ran to the king of the sports luxury car segment coming out of Japan. It's the car you buy when you want something with the power and refinement of a German car, but with the reliability of a Nissan. That's right, folks, it's the Infiniti G line. My name's Brad, welcome to Ideal, and this is the rundown. Back in 2013, Infiniti decided to flip the script and replace the much-loved G37 with the Q50. And since Infiniti knows two-door coupes makes us feel sporty, they gave us the all-new Q60 as well. And they made sure that it went in all the recent Need for Speed games, where it did look gorgeous with a wide-body kit on it, by the way. Here in the States, these guys came loaded with either a 3.7-liter V6 or a 3.5-liter hybrid version, which both pumped out more than 300 horsepower. And Infiniti, well, they weren't messing around. And in most configurations, you can choose between rear or all-wheel drive. The Q50 was a major shift for Infiniti, not just in naming conventions, but also with the tech they crammed inside. Active noise cancellation, a full suite of driver's aids including adaptive cruise control, and oh yeah, the world's first steer-by-wire system. But don't think for a second the Q50 is just a techie sedan, because in 2016, engine options changed from either a Mercedes-made 2-liter turbo or a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 straight from the Nissan 400Z, meaning in the all-new Red Sport performance trim, you got a full 400 horsepower on tap. And with or without the adaptive suspension, these cars handle great and ride even better. And because it's an Infiniti, the look and feel of the interior is right up there with the best. And if you ask me, the exterior isn't really bad on the eyes either. 2007, a VQ engine road missile stormed onto the scene. G37 was a grown-up luxury sedan with the DNA of a sports car, borrowing design cues from the stunning Nissan 370Z. The G37 had more horsepower, more luxury, and more, well, everything than its predecessor. But we'll get to that car in just a minute. Infiniti was out to prove they could tango with the best in Germany, and with the new larger 3.7-liter V6 churning out 348 horsepower, it had the moves. The G37S was a standout, and many still consider it the perfect blend of power, luxury, and affordability. And that hasn't changed. Because even though its engine note has pretty much divided people into two camps, it's a car that's pretty universally praised in terms of performance, build quality, and reliability. And oh yeah, did I mention that it had a manual option? Which, if you want to save the manuals, check out this Ideal Tee up here. Because the G37 Infiniti was winning hearts and minds and giving us gearheads choices: 2 doors, 4 doors, all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, automatic or manual. You could spec out a G37 to make it pretty much whatever you needed it to be. And like all generations of G, you could get it as a convertible too. Whereas the Q50 has been thoroughly reimagined, the G37 was an elegantly executed evolution of the car that truly put the Infiniti brand on the map. Rewind the clock back to 2002, when Infiniti launched the G35. The car that was an absolute game changer for the brand. Sharing the FM platform with the Nissan 350Z, this was the model that marked Infiniti's genuine push into the performance segment. The G35 was the car that cast the mold for how all of the Infiniti's midsize sports sedans should be. It was a machine that was all about balance. The 3.5-liter V6 cranked out 306 horsepower and sat behind the front axle, achieving not only a nearly perfect weight distribution, but just the right amount of usable power for the chassis, and it came out swinging. See, Infiniti wasn't just looking to take on Mercedes and BMW, but also knock down the mighty King Quattro. Because for the very first time, you could get an Infiniti sedan with all-wheel drive.
What's going on with you? What are you talking about?
It's a wonderful car to drive, regardless of which trim you get it in. But the 2 doors in particular get a lot of love for their sleek lines and slightly more agile handling. The G35, yes, laid the groundwork for the later success of models like the G37 and Q50, but it's set in stone the design, performance, and tech-forward characteristics for Infiniti as a brand. In 2003, it won Motor Trend's Car of the Year. And in 2004, the G35 obliterated the competition in Car and Driver's sports sedan shootout, being the first in its class to take down the BMW 3 Series in 10 years? And in my opinion, the G35 is the most important car they ever built because had it not been as good as it was, Nissan might have pulled the plug on the Infiniti brand altogether. After years of top secret preparation, Nissan launched the Infiniti brand in 1989 with a full-size Q45 sedan and a performance-oriented M30 Sport Coupe. And almost immediately, they realized they needed something to slot into the premium compact segment to challenge stuff like the C-Class and the 3 Series. Enter the G20. Though it might not have been as potent or aggressive as its descendants, it was the model that served as a testbed for the brand to fine-tune its understanding and exactly what buyers wanted out of a car in its class. And it gave the designers and engineers some runway to get practical real-world feedback for how Infiniti could further refine the brand as a whole. The G20 was a luxury compact based on the Nissan Primera, and it introduced American drivers to Infiniti's unique blend of refinement, performance, and value. Though not as popular as its successors, the G20 was the stepping stone for Infiniti to eventually develop and launch the performance-oriented G Series. The first generation featured an angular boxy design, and it was based on the Nissan Primera. It had a 2-liter inline-4 that made around 140 horsepower. Infiniti wasn't really thinking about blending performance and luxury with this one, it was just really, luxury. It was produced until 1996, when it took a 2-year hiatus, only to come back in 1998 with a facelift. Again, the G20 wasn't particularly quick, but it was smooth, it was comfortable, and reliable. And like I said, it gave Infiniti everything they needed to come out full throttle with every car in the series that came after it. So, to recap, the Infiniti G line is the car you buy when you want the smile factor of a Nissan Z, but you need your girlfriend's parents to take you seriously. Although, I met my now wife's parents in a Nissan Z and, that kind of worked out. Infiniti gave us a line of cars that shows you don't need a German badge to make thrilling, luxury performance machines. From the futuristic Q50 to the iconic G37, the game-changing G35 to the humble beginnings of the G20, it's been one hell of a ride. Truth is, these are all pretty ideal and you can't really go wrong with any generation. And yeah, the G35 and G37's infotainment systems feel, pretty dated today, but that's true of pretty much any car in the luxury market before 2014. And so now it's time for the Ideal rankings. So here at Ideal, how do we rank all 4 generations of G and Q? Well, the G20 is at the bottom, as it didn't really have the DNA that made the newer generations so good. Next, we put the Q50 and Q60. It's great, but they're just super expensive. Then, runner-up is the G37. Now, this was the closest runner-up in the history of rundowns because the top is the G35. Essentially, it's at the top because without it, Infiniti may not still exist. But what do you guys think? What ones do you want to park in your ideal garage? Let us know in the comments below. And that's it for today's episode of The Rundown. If you liked the video, smash that like button. Also subscribe, turn on that notification bell if you're new here, and check out this Ideal vid up here or whatever YouTube recommends you watch next. I'm Brad, this is Ideal, and promise me one thing, keep living the Ideal lifestyle.